my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Friday video where I do my Friday challenge. And I'd like to say to all those people that are living in the US, happy Thanksgiving. For me, actually, when I was a kid, I grew up, my mother was actually born in Rhode Island and grew up in the United States and later moved to Canada. We would celebrate both the Canadian Thanksgiving and the US Thanksgiving. I'd have a lot of turkey. It'd be like Canadian Thanksgiving in October, American Thanksgiving in November, and then we'd have again more turkey in December for Christmas. So it was like lots of turkey. I'd be pretty much turkeyed out by the end of the year. Um, but I'd like to say that I'm very thankful, especially to the people that are watching this channel. I'm thankful that they enjoy my content. And that's what this video is really about. It's about saying, what am I thankful for? And these are some comics that I'm kind of thankful for. And comics and book. I should say there's one book that's in this list as well. And I just want to, kind of express my thanks. And let's get into it, though. Let's get into my list of books that I'm thankful for. If you want to participate in this Friday challenge, all you have to do is make a video showing 10 comics where you are thankful that you have those comics in your collection. That's really all this is. It's a Thanksgiving video, basically. Okay, so first book, and this is actually kind of a major book for me. This is from my childhood, is Howard the Duck, #1. This is the book that started it all in terms of collecting. For me, this is the book. I saw it up on the, this coin store shelf. And I thought, wow, comics are collectible? That's really cool. And it looks like, a lot of the things that I like. I liked Spider-Man at the time. I like anthropomorphic characters like Donald Duck because I liked Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, all those characters. And to see Howard the Duck, who's this guy with a sword? I love D&D. I was a big Dungeons and Dragons fan. And you got that. And then you got this sexy girl. What not to like? All in one cover. I just thought this was really cool. Had sort of so many elements to what I liked. And it was instant love at first sight kind of situation. And this started me collecting comics. So I'm very thankful for this book, because if it wasn't for this book, maybe I'd be still a coin collector, or maybe not even collecting anything at all. So thank you, Howard the Duck. Okay, next one that's kind of similar, but at a different level, more the next level extreme, is my All-Star #8. This is the very first appearance of Wonder Woman. It is a major key book, but this book really made the impossible seem possible. So when I was just starting collecting, there was certain books that I realized I would never attain. Like, at least that's kind of the way, that was my impression, that I would never attain certain books because they're insane. Like you hear like Action 1. Well, that's millions of dollars. I'm never going to attain that. Even All-Star in a high grade can almost go for $1 million. It's like kind of one of those books that you think, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll have to get the next thing, best thing, rather than going after that thing that I really want. Well, when I encountered this book, it was actually one that was possible. It was a lower grade, obviously, and that made it possible for me to get it. And it really set my mind to realize, hey, look, there's actually books that you might not think are attainable that you can attain. And it really set me down a path of getting things. After getting this book, I made my want list. I said, these are the books that I want. I put Batman 1, Detective 27, whole bunch of really big books on the list. And it was because I had sort of found that confidence that I could buy or find and potentially buy pretty much anything. This book is really the one that got me to that next level of collecting. Howard the Duck got me collecting, but this one took me to believing that I could get anything, with enough willpower behind it. So, a very important book for me, and I'm very thankful to have it in my collection. This next book is actually a book, and it is The Seduction of the Innocent. And this is not like a typical book that people would be thankful for, like, especially comic book guys. But I'm thankful to have this book. And you can even see I even have like little tabs where I put like notes to where there's certain chapters that I read or things that I look at. Like, you open it up and there's like the illustrations of the different comics that they basically, this was all the evil comics were listed in here. You got another illustration one. You got Phantom Lady, and it basically is a book that showcased all the ones that led to, or what Frederick Wortham believed led to juvenile delinquency in the United States. So comics were the reason why kids were being bad. Probably not, but that's what he believed, and he made a book about it. And inside of this book is 155 comics that are referenced. And this became my shopping list because I wanted to get those books. I'm a completionist collector, and this book actually I'm very thankful for because it basically became my shopping guide for books that I thought were kind of cool, that they're cool enough to get mentioned inside of this book. And it led me to really understand the Golden Age, and it really led me to appreciating those same books that were in this book, but also appreciating the genres that were reflected. So normally I would never collect crime. Normally I would never even collect romance, or normally I wouldn't collect so many of the other genres like, horror. Horror I would actually collect. But maybe Good Girl. I wasn't really into Good Girl, except for Bad Girls of the 90s. I didn't really appreciate it as much as after I started, getting into the headlight covers that were mentioned in Seduction of the Innocent. So this book really drove me to collect a lot of the stuff that I collected, and really got me into loving the Golden Age. So this is like, it's kind of a weird book that kind of led me down many, many rabbit holes, and got me to really enjoy Golden Age comics. So I'm thankful for this book in its own, weird way. It had a very important impact on my life. So interesting read too. It's actually interesting book. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is an interesting one. Now, before I actually found Howard the Duck, I was a big Richie Rich fan, and Uncle Scrooge, all those kind of characters that were more tame, like what my parents would allow me to read. So, as I said, with getting the All-Star 8, I really did set my sights on some bigger books that I thought, hey, these are possible targets. And one of the possible targets was to get, hey, I love my first appearances. I wanted to get Richie Rich's first appearance. So I'm very thankful to have Richie Rich's first appearance in my collection. And this is it. So no Richie Rich on the cover. Sorry about that. But this is the first appearance of Richie Rich in comics. And this is Little Dot #1. And just a very cool book, that it did start like such a cool character. Hard book to find, actually, unless you want to pay big money. So I'm very thankful to have this in my collection. And it really presents well for a 2.5. I'm actually kind of confused why it's a 2.5. There's nothing, maybe it's detached. I don't know. It doesn't even say it's detached. It looks perfectly fine. It's like the cleanest 2.5 I've ever seen. So it's like probably a 4. It's like way nicer than a 2.5. Yeah. So So I'm very thankful to have this one in my collection. Okay. So Yeah, maybe it's because it's got slightly brittle pages. They sometimes really knock it for that. It'd probably, be a higher grade if it wasn't for the brittle pages. And it's only slightly brittle. Sometimes that doesn't even mean anything. Okay, so next one. I mentioned that I really liked Uncle Scrooge and Richie Rich. Well, Uncle Scrooge, kind of very similar character to Richie Rich. I always liked the characters that had crazy amounts of money to play with and do crazy things. Uncle Scrooge is a little bit more held back a little bit in terms of spending the money, but he seems to spend money on weird things. So there'd be lots of adventures that they would go on where they seem to spend a lot of money on various contraptions and stuff. Um, and this just happens to be the very first appearance of Uncle Scrooge. So this is Donald Duck Christmas on Bear Mountain. Oh, it's four color number 178 from 1947. It's the very first appearance of Uncle Scrooge. Actually, it's a pretty cool story. Uh, you know, um, Uncle Scrooge might actually be on the cover in a weird way because Uncle Scrooge dresses up as a bear in order to test his nephew's resolve in terms of his bravery. So this could be, you know, Uncle Scrooge under one of these bears. So yeah, basically, it was an interesting story where, yeah, Uncle Scrooge got the wrong impression of his nephew. He thought he was much braver than he really was. But just a cool book. I was super excited to get it in a nice, reasonable grade too, 5.0, solid grade for this book. Um, just happy to have it in my collection. It's like those dream like, and the cool thing about this book, this was one where it was a bit of a double thanks in a way because I actually got a lower grade copy, like a 2.5 or something like that, and then I upgraded to this copy where this one I it was just in an auction where I fluked out and got it for a great price. But my brother also really likes Scrooge McDuck. And he would always go on about Uncle Scrooge and blah blah blah. And another reason why I kind of like Uncle Scrooge, I always associate it to my brother in a way. Um, so when we got the upgrade, I gave him for his birthday my undercopy. So it was a book that I think that my brother and I both appreciated, and I was glad that I was able to help him get it as well. So I'm really thankful to this book. Led to a really great character being created. Now, another thing that I collected as a kid, um, and this was later on. My parents were always trying to get me to read because I was a little bit slow about reading. I was very dyslexic as a kid. Well, still dyslexic now, but but I got it under control. Um, and one of the things was they wanted me to read, so they would give me subscriptions to magazines or whatever I would read. And I really liked Spy versus Spy and Don Merton and what Al Jaffe and stuff like those writers, and Sergio Organas, and they were all in one magazine called Mad. And I basically have a complete run of Mad from like the early 80s, like 1980, to all the way up to like the 2000s, like pretty much the whole way through there because I had a magazine subscription all of that time. And maybe 90s actually. I didn't get into the 2000s, but in the 90s. Um, and I always wanted to have the very first Mad magazine because that'd be like kind of the grail of that little collection. So I managed to find a copy, and here it is, my Mad #1. Great book. It was actually originally a comic book before it became a magazine, and it only became a magazine because of the Golden Age. It gave EC Comics the ability to continue on, where they couldn't publish the naughty books that they were publishing before, all the horror related titles. So they put everything into Mad and made it a magazine, and there was no restrictions with magazines that applied to the comic code. The comic code only applied to comics, so magazine format they could do whatever satire or funny stuff that they wanted to do. So really, Mad was what saved DC Comics. They actually made more money with Mad than they did before. Uh, just a major book. First satire comic. First, real like huge legacy. I mean, this book, Mad runs up till today. I mean, this is from 1952, and it still runs till this day. That's kind of impressive. Just a fun magazine, comic, and it was a Jack Davis, and John Severin art inside, and Harvey Kurtzman cover. I really liked Harvey Kurtzman as well. When I collected Warren Publishing, Harvey Kurtzman did a little publication called Help. Great stuff. Yeah, if you haven't ever checked out Pulp, the magazine called Help, it's a really good one. Okay, so a few more things to go. We got 4 more to go. This is going to be a longer video. I have a lot of things to say thank you for. So I'm thank you for Mad #1 being part of my collection. This next book is one that I thought I had in a way. So when I was in high school, we went on a school trip to Ottawa. It was a thing. Go to the nation's capital, see Ottawa. Now I live in Ottawa. It's kind of weird. But it was a big deal at the time. It was like kind of one of the first times where I was on my own, away from my parents. I was with the class trip. And going to Ottawa was interesting because there was like my teacher, he was a cool guy. He didn't really put many restrictions on us. He sort of said, "Oh, you guys are on your own." Like whatever you want to do, basically. And we basically were like, "Okay, that's cool." So the hotel was like pretty much central Ottawa. And I was like, "Hey," I grabbed the phone book. This is telling you how long ago this was. Big, thick phone book. And I flipped through to find a comic shop because I had never gone to a comic shop before. Like a shop that was completely devoted to comics. Never had gone to one before this time. And so I looked through the phone book very eagerly. I was like, "Oh, I got to find a comic shop." And I found a comic shop that was near the hotel. And so I got 2 of my friends to go with me, and we walked to this comic shop because they like comics as well. And when I got to the comic shop, I don't even know what comic shop it was. Like, don't ask me, I don't remember. It's probably on Bank Street, and I didn't even know what it was. And I asked the owner, what was the first appearance of Plastic Man? That was one of the characters that I knew, and I thought he was a really cool character. And he said, "Well, Plastic Man #1," which I was like, "Okay." And then he said, "Oh, it's in the bin over there." And I grabbed a copy of Plastic Man #1, and it was obviously not the first appearance of Plastic Man, but I didn't know any better. It was $2. Like at $2, it didn't matter that it wasn't the first appearance of Plastic Man. It was like, the 3rd series or 4th series of Plastic Man. So it's not even like the first series of Plastic Man. So yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll buy that. And so I was quite excited about that. But then later on, I learned that it was not indeed the first appearance of Plastic Man. And then when I learned what the first appearance of Plastic Man was, I was like, oh, that's a book that I'll never get. It was very sad. But somehow I managed to get it. And I'm very thankful to have gotten this book in my collection. Now, getting this book in my collection, Police Comics #1, first appearance of Plastic Man, first appearance of Phantom Lady, the Human Bomb, the Mouthpiece, and Brandfire. All their first appearances. Very cool book. I didn't think I actually would get this book. Actually, I kind of thought I would, and then I thought I wouldn't, if that makes sense. There was an auction that I was watching, and there was a low-grade copy. I was like, oh, this will be easy. Nobody's going to bid. It was like a 1.5 or something like that. And I put a serious bid. I put like a $3,000 or $4,000 bid. I wanted to win it, and it went to $6,000. I was like, what? Why did it go so high? It just went way past what I was willing to spend on a really low grade copy. Um, then I found one on eBay. It was like a 3.0, and they wanted like 13,000. Oh my goodness! I was like, no, I'm never going to afford this book. It's just too much. I can't pay for that. Then this one came up, and I won it for a great price. I think it was like 3,000, and I think 3,000 or 3,500, somewhere around there. And basically, I was like, wow, this is a 7.0, presents beautifully, and it was cheaper than a 1.0, 1.5. I mean, it just, to me, it didn't make any sense. I like restored books for that reason, because you can get really nice presenting copies for a fraction of the uh, of the blue labels. I mean, this one, the restoration includes color touch, pieces added, reinforced, and it's from the collection of John Burke too. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, just a cool book. Presents amazingly well. I really like it, and I'm super happy to have it in my collection. First appearance of Plastic Man. Can't go wrong with that. Okay, this next book is super special to me, because it's from somebody who I consider a close friend from the comic book community. And basically, this channel was my attempt to make friends. I know it sounds weird, but what happened was, when I started this channel, I didn't know anybody that collected comics, really. I knew a couple of the dealers, but I didn't know anyone that collected comics for the most part, because there just wasn't a comic book community where I was part of. I didn't really have that. I was living in Toronto at the time, and I, thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to make a comic book channel and just engage with people and hopefully meet some people within the comic book community? And fortunately, I'm very thankful that it worked. I made so many friends doing this channel, and I'm very thankful for that. Like, I've met so many great people. The people in the comic book community are some of the best people in the world, I have to say. And I'm very thankful for that. I really, really do appreciate everybody in the comic book community, and I really appreciate the interactions that we have and doing these videos and people actually watching them. I've had over 1 million people watch my videos. That's insane to me. That's just so crazy. So I'm very thankful for that. And this book was an A-OK from one of those community people. And he's one of I consider probably my best friend in comics, is Stephen Gentner. You know who you are. He's my partner on the Monday special that we do, the live stream. And he gave me this book. So this is part of the Stephen Gentner collection. And it's a Black Cat Comics #1. What a cool book. And it's a reasonable grade, too. It's like a nice copy. So I had a low grade copy of this book. I had like a 1.0. He basically felt sympathy for me, and he got me a nicer copy. So I'm really appreciative for him having done that. It's just huge. I really do like getting free stuff. And to get some really great gift like this from a friend is really nice. I do appreciate it. So I wanted to say thank you to Stephen. I'm thankful not only for the comic, but I am thankful for him in general, and all of you that watch these videos. Okay, so that's enough of that. Okay, we got 2 more to go. This next one is kind of a major one. This was a book that I didn't think I would ever get. Now, it's a low grade. It's like NG, which is like no grade, because it doesn't have a cover. It's coverless copy. It's complete, but coverless. Now, this to me is a grail. It's just like a huge book because there's like two or three known to exist. It's like that kind of book. Um, Probably only one of them has a cover, that kind of level. Um, and this book is very significant for Canada because it is one where it's the first appearance of Nelvana of the Northern Lights. Nelvana is just this kind of really cool character who was our first superhero, first created superhero for Canada. It's during the era of the Canadian Whites, where there was a trade embargo between Canada and the United States. We produced our own comics in Canada, and we had to come up with our own characters. And Nelvana was one of them. This is her first appearance. This is Triumph Comics #1. It's a historic piece from 1941, and it's just a classic book. Huge historic significance. Um, just to give you a sense of how historic this character was, she was put on the Canadian stamp. Okay, like, they actually created a stamp series with her. So just a really important character, and get a little piece of Canadian history. It's kind of a cool thing for me. So that's why this one is here. Now, this next book that's on the list is one that I just really like. I love this book. I think it's the coolest book. And I'm thankful to have it in my collection because it seemed like everything was going wrong for me to get this book. And sometimes it's the struggle that makes you want something even more. So this was one of those books where it doesn't sell that often. The one time that I saw it sell, it went for a crazy price, and it kind of priced me out of it. And then somebody that watched this channel actually reached out to me, and they had a whole big collection of comics. And I said, hey, based on what I'm seeing here, I think these are the values. And I actually, I kind of sometimes I come across as like, oh, I'm trying to get you to lower the price or whatever. Like I sound like I'm trying to gouge people. I was actually very fair about the pricing that I gave the guy. I was like, this is what, I think they're worth. And I don't think he believed me. I don't think he believed me at all. And I was like trying to convince him to sell me like about 9 books from this big collection of books. And he said he would sell me one. And I said, well, I want this one. And he was like, no, I'll sell you this other one. And and I paid him over market value. Like I actually paid him over FMV for it. No appreciation. But he wouldn't sell me this other book. I said, well, at least let me get the book that I want. So he wouldn't do it though. But I really wanted this one, and fortunately, it came up for auction afterwards. And I actually bought it graded. He had a raw copy, and it was probably like a lower grade. And I actually bought a graded one for cheaper than what I actually said I would be willing to pay to him. It didn't make sense. It was like, and had he just listened to me, like I was being very fair. I don't know. It's like frustrating sometimes, but okay. Here's the book that I'm talking about. I just love it. I something about this one. I even made a little AI clip of this video of this book where I made a little AI thing for it because I just think it's so cool. I just love the this kind of gun mall girl lurking behind this curtain. That's like, and then she's got the gun. She's got the little gun. She's gonna like shoot somebody, like probably wipe somebody out, And there's like this weird, creepy guy in the shadow in the mirror in the window. I just think it's really cool. I just think it's a really great cover. This is Scoop Comics #9. No, #8. #8. Just a really cool book. I always liked it. I mean, and she has these green nails and just something about it. I really like it. She's kind of looked a little bit unkept. Just something about it I really like. And I just, to me, I like covers where they really zoom in on a girl's face. I really like that for some reason. And this has that. I just think I like the composition of it. It tells a story with very little. It's really cool. So it's one of my favorites. Um, so yeah, so those are my top 10 um, comics that I'm really thankful to have. But looking behind me, look at all the books behind me. I'm thankful to have all the great collection I do have. I'm always trying to upgrade my collection, but I'm actually really thankful to just have this collection. It's such an amazing collection, and I'm super happy to have it. I can't believe I do have it. So thank you, by the way, for watching this video. And if you want to participate, all you have to do is show 10 comics that you're thankful to have in your collection and use the hashtag Friday Comic Challenge. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Even if you don't do the video, I hope you just enjoyed this, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.